Well, welcome back on this magical Monday. And I am sharing with you today some of my weekend. Actually, yesterday I went to Black Joy Parade, and boy, that was a joy. I had such a marvelous time just walking amongst the many people in Oakland with melanin popping all over the streets. I saw African American cowgirls and cowboys, and you'll see some of that coming up. I wanted to take a moment and share, and I usually share at the end of my video, one of the African Americans' history, and someone that has been outstanding in the culture and in the spirit of being an African American, brought here from the shores, many shores of Africa across the Middle Passage, which was a definite, deathly experience for many. Something that is just so tragic that it's hard to even talk about, to even speak about. And those that survived that, wow, that's in my DNA. Can't deny it. So strength and resilience is the common thread amongst all African Americans, something that we can be proud of. So with that said, I would like to introduce who I'm going to speak about today, and that is Malcolm X. Yes, it wouldn't be his story in an African American in America without taking a moment to talk about Malcolm X. If you don't know about him, I know my channel reaches around the world, and it's just, it's 2020 and he was in the 60s. So I was around then. I was very small. And I was born into the civil rights movement. So it is near and dear to my heart, and something that I do want to share with everyone out there. So I'll read a little bit about Malcolm X. You can, of course, Google him. But I have a book that I've used over the years called Extraordinary African Americans. And I will be I've highlighted people in the past. I believe I spoke about Toni Morrison. She passed away, a Howard University graduate of my alma mater, and she passed away last year. So I did have a little excerpt on her on one of my YouTubes from last year. But anyway, Malcolm X, noted as a Black Power leader. And I'll read you a quote. "We have to keep in mind at all times that we are not fighting for integration, nor are we fighting for separation. We are fighting for recognition as free human beings in this society." Very powerful words. And February is a very strong month for Malcolm X. Malcolm X was, on February 14th, a bomb was exploded out on Valentine's Day. A bomb was thrown into his home with his family and his children present. He survived that. However, he was actually in his father's home, and that was bombed 36 years before. That's something that people did out of jealousy and hatred of people of color. But we have moved on and evolved, claiming that. So Malcolm X on February 21st, that was just this past Friday, in the year of 1965, he was shot at a rally at the Audubon Ballroom in New York. And I do have a family member that was there when that happened. It was a very terrifying experience that he shared with us about how his mother and father were there and had to shelter him under a table. It was quite an egregious murder. And if you are watching Netflix, you can see a documentary on Malcolm X. I'll put the link below. Very powerful on the assassination and all the details leading up to that. Very interesting. I won't give any spoilers, but you need to watch it. So anyway, Malcolm X's death came as a great shock. Thousands of Black people around the world were in the revolution, where he personified revolution. He was someone that wanted to take action. One of his lines is by any means necessary. That was the fiber. That was like there was peaceful marches, and then there were action takers. Then, I'm not saying one way or the other was better than the other way, because that's our history, and everything that came afterwards. With every action, there's a reaction. So this was a reaction. So with that, I'll leave with you. Above all, he symbolized unyielding defiance and resistance in the face of prejudice, discrimination, and repression. One of our African American heroes, Malcolm X. There's also a book about him. I encourage you to learn more. There's much to learn about African American history, and the Black Joy Parade was somewhere where we celebrated our melanin and how we have come forward with the movement of being rightful citizens. And there were a lot of people there that were getting out the vote, and that's something that Black people didn't have. So Voting Rights Act did happen, and so we do vote. I was with my mother as a little 5-year-old. I remember when she went to the voting booth and she held my hand and I went in and she tick, 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 tick. So I vote every time because my mom remembers when no one could. And also women couldn't vote either. So not being political, this is of the mind, and we have to think about all these. Today is Mindset Monday. So think about everything that's out there, ponder upon it, and then take action. All right, I love you all. Enjoy the little clips that I have around Oakland. And yes, you can see me again on Wednesday. Black Joy Parade. Cowgirls. Hey, here's Daniel. Black Joy.